I don't, I've always been controversial in trading, but I don't want to be a reason for people to feel like they gotta reach out and touch me and upset my family life, my personal life. I've already had enough intrusions in that from goobers. But the world's changing, folks. It's changed 20 years ago. You just haven't recognized it because the progression was very, very slow. Small incremental movements. It's not perceived by the average person because they keep you distracted with the football games and all the sporting events and all the drama and keeping up with the Kardashians, giving you all things dramatized over about other people, not recognizing that your world slowly becomes smaller and smaller, and it's about to become even smaller. Big population reduction. That's their plan. So anyway, it probably doesn't feel like a, a good way to end a Twitter space, but these are all things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about these things while I was driving. I have a headset that I could have been talking while I was driving, and it would have been completely legal and undistracted driving. But I wanted to talk about all that stuff and put it on a SoundCloud, but just haven't had an opportunity to do so. So I included it here. Those individuals that were not interested in this kind of stuff, they probably already turned off the Twitter space or they're unsubscribing me and whatever. It doesn't matter. It ain't going to stop it. But I tell you these things, and I'm not making any money here. Okay. There's no ads running, there's no monetization. And if you choose never to come back because you heard something that scared you or think I'm trying to push some kind of fear mongering thing on you, don't come back. I'm telling you these things that way you can get you and your household prepared the best way you can. And let it also be an inspiration for you to learn how to do this. Treat it like a business because it's going to get harder for everyone. I have a lot of money, and having a lot of money is not going to exempt me from what is coming. It just makes it much more important that I don't talk about the things that I talk about in public forums like this. I'll be deplatformed, and there it is. So if my YouTube channel goes down, or they take the Twitter account down, or if I put a SoundCloud out on that SoundCloud account and it talks about these things like this and they take it down, then you know what I've said was absolutely true. And there it is. I won't come back up with another platform to try to be a backup system. I'll just take that as okay. I don't need any more reminder. It is what it is. I've already said all these things anyway, but I'm just trying to be a voice of reason to keep you encouraged to keep doing what you're doing. That's all. I mean, it's easy to feel complacent about going to work every day and thinking that that's that's the American dream. You're getting your bills paid, you're just eking through life, and you can make your mortgage or your rent payment. And this is like a distraction to all that stuff. Listening to me, or pretending that you're gonna eventually be profitable in trading. And that's not what I want you to do. I want you to learn how to do this as a means of secondary or primary income to help fortify, you know, and put in place the things that you would like to have to make existence comfortable and more bearable because times are going to get harder. You know, doing away with natural gas hookups in New York and banning all diesel engines in California, you know, whether you realize it or not, the things that start in these very, very liberal states eventually find their way into other states, even red states. They may be kicking and screaming and say that's never going to happen here, but it will. They do away with grocery bags. When you go to the store and there's plastic bags, that's it. We're not going to do them anymore. So you got to go out and buy your own totes. We do that anyway because I don't want all those plastic bags in my home. So we buy the reusable nylon. You fold up real small and keep them in your car. When you go to the store, you take them out and you bring your groceries home or whatever it is you bought, and then you have it to be reused. Or they charge you for a bag in the stores. Like if you go to Wegmans here in Maryland, I don't know if they have Wegmans in other states. It's just the store we like to go to. I like their food and like how they do their store, but they don't give you bags unless you pay for them, which it's not a big deal. I mean, I could pay for bags for everybody, but the point is, it started in California, and it's moved across to other states, and it will all eventually be no natural gas, no wood burning stoves, no diesel engines, no combustible engines. It'll all be green, all electric, and they can all be turned off when you want them to be turned off. Think about it. I saw a video clip short this morning. I was eating something before I came on. It was a short little clip of a guy talking about how a Hellcat, you probably already seen this little short, but the Hellcat, the guy's describing how if someone's going to carjack or steal your car, you push this little button on your remote, your key fob for your car, and then they can start the car up, but the gas pedal doesn't work. Okay, they're going to smash the car. They couldn't steal it, so they're going to smash it all up. But think about the technology they had there. It'll start, but you're going nowhere. Imagine a world where your social credit score can affect you being able to do that too. They may allow you to drive to and fro to work in your electric vehicle, but on the weekends, they turn off access to it. You don't think it can happen? Look what they've done in China. They tell their people you can't even leave the house because you've done something that they didn't like. That's what's coming everywhere. Everywhere it's going to be like that. That's the goal. It may not be successful in the next year or two, but that's where they're aiming. They're aiming for that before 2030. And that sounds nuts, doesn't it? It sounds insane. And because I'm a person that is prone to say things and not think about the ramifications of it, because I have a heart. I don't want any of you going through anything unpleasant, and I'm sharing my life and my time and my resources and my experience with you in hopes that you'll be able to live a better life and present a better life to your children. That to me is motivation, why I do it. And I'm talking to you in a medium that I don't make any money with. And I do that because I want you to trust what I'm saying is only inspired because I want to do well with you and for you, so that way you can do what you're not really equipped to do otherwise. And maybe if I'm wrong, hopefully I am, none of these things happen and you live a better life and your children live a better life because you pass on this information to them. That to me is a rewarding life. That to me is a purpose-driven life. That gives me a sense of accomplishment. Better than making money in the marketplace. Okay. Better than being recognized in the industry as this guy or that guy. I want to be remembered as this person talking to you, the person that is investing his time and resources and time teaching you how to do things to be a better person, to equip yourself and your family to not go through as much discomfort as the average person will in the coming years, because it's going to get stupid. Like, it's going to get really stupid. And I don't have answers for all of it. Like, I've racked my brain for years, all through the COVID crap and stuff. Like, I was trying to come up with, ways to navigate all of it, and what would be an exemption for me to do this or do that. And, I've contemplated, moving to other countries. I wanted to go to Ireland, and then Ireland started acting up and doing some silly stuff. I was like, I ain't going there. So it came painfully obvious that it's not going to be a place where I can go. There's no place that you're going to be able to go that is exempt from it. And now, because of Saudi Arabia's willingness to join in with the BRICS nations and also allow their oil to be purchased outside the US dollar, that's the death knell for the dollar. And I talked about this last summer in Twitter Spaces. So it will be a gradual, not an overnight, like boom, sudden the dollar just collapses. Okay. It will be a slow, it's been a slow dissolving erosion of the buying power of the dollar. Even if the dollar were to go up at contract value higher, the purchasing power of it won't remain the same. And it doesn't make sense for someone that's new. There's like, it doesn't make sense. Just look at what you're doing right now. When you go to the store, when you buy groceries, it costs a lot of money. What I used to purchase for me and my family, when I purchase food, I purchase 1 month's worth of normal consumption, and then I replenish my food stores in my pantry. So long-term pantry, and then the average every day, like milk and eggs and stuff like that. My wife will grab that on a week by week basis. But your bill probably is, much more than it has been in the past too. But it costs me about $1,200 to $1,300 to buy the food that we put in for a full month. I have teenagers that still live with me, eat up a whole bunch of stuff, and over the course of a month, every meal, I put dog food into that too, by the way. So it kind of factors that in too. But look at dog food. If you have a pet, we used to spend like $10 for one case of food for one of our dogs. Now it's more than doubled. So I'm sure the folks that out there that are listening that haven't found profitability yet, they're really trying to get to a point where they can make more money. And I get it, and that motivates me. Like that keeps me going to try to find ways to make it easier for you to learn how to do this. And hopefully, this presentation has helped in that regard in terms of limiting your exposure. Don't look at it as holding you back, because it's easy for you to wrestle with this. This guy just outlined this many opportunities in a day. So why is he telling me only pick one of them when it would make more sense for me to be able to win here, win here, win? Because you're assuming as a new student that you're going to win all the time when you're not as a new student. You don't know yourself. You don't know the market well. And it's foolish for you to think that you're going to be successful that fast right out of the gate and be able to trade every session, every opportunity in a 24-hour window. You can't. So learn one of them. Pick one that fits easily inside your personal lifestyle right now. That way, when all these things, if they do start to get worse, then the stresses that come with it, they won't compound you into doing something outside of the model that has proven to you by then, hopefully, that the results that you're looking for can be obtained just in one of these sessions in the day. You only need one of them, just one. And if you get really good at one, then venture into another one in addition, and then slowly grow in that one. And over time, you may be able to do something in every one of them, but you can't do it in your first year. You can't do it in your first 2 years or 3 years. It's going to take you time to get real comfortable with working with a full daily range. And that shouldn't be a goal for everyone, but that's mastery. If you want to know what mastery is you can go in every single one of these time windows and find a setup and engage it and take it out. But unfortunately, young men are going to take that as a challenge and try to do that in their first 6 months or their first month or their first year, and it's going to hurt them. And that's why I'm telling you not to do that, because you can set yourself back in your progress and your development by doing something like that, because it'll build in all this scare, fear, anxiety, performance anxiety, basically, because you've done something more than is required. To make money, you have to do something that repeats, that you can control risk with. You can limit the amount of risk exposure you have to it, both in time in front of the charts and in the market, and with the assumed risk in each individual trade. So in the beginning, you want to limit that to a very small degree of exposure, not doing a lot of trades, because think about it, you're in the beginnings of that. So everything that's painful is going to be extremely exaggerated in your mind that that loss was way worse than it really was. If you're trading with a small account underfunded and you lose $200, that's like the end of the world. Like, man, I could have done something with that $200, blah, blah, blah. Versus losing $200 and knowing that you don't have to hurry up and run away and get into another trading setup that same day or that same session to get it back. Otherwise, you're viewing yourself as a failure or never going to be able to do this. It's a lot of growth that goes through the first stages of learning how to trade, and rushing into live money or a funded account that's passed, and you can get withdrawals and payouts from a funded account company and still not know how to trade. You can get lucky, get a payout, and still not know how to trade. So you don't want to discover that painfully. You want to know that you're absolutely bored with one of these times of the day. You know that, like the back of your hand, you know what you're looking for. You're not going to deviate from that. You're not in a rush. You're going to wait patiently for the setup to come to you because you're anticipating it. You're not waiting for the market to react to what price has shown you. You're not doing that. There is a difference, okay? There's a there's a stark contrast between anticipating something and then reacting. Knowing what you're looking for, engaging it, managing that trade to the end, impeccably managing risk the entire time. That's your goal. That's the primary focus for you as a student of mine. I don't care what anybody else does and how they teach. Under my wing, that's what you're trying to do. And then you grow gradually because you have to understand that even making money is scary. The people that would have a saying that would be against that, I promise you, they have never made any money. The ones that get on social media, you know who I'm talking about, all these talkers. Yeah, I'll make this, I'll make that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. When you're making money for the first time, that's going to be very scary. And you're going to freeze. And you're going to feel an overwhelming desire just to close the trade. More so than I'm going to hold it and see how much it's going to pay out more. You're going to be fearful of your stop loss. Is it going to go down and hit my stop? And it's probably going to be, a significant distance between where the market is right now while in unrealized profit, and your stop loss would be pretty far away from it. Even if it was to stop you out, it would still be in profit. But you're going to start wrestling with this. Do I get out here? What happens if it goes down to my stop? What happens if it goes down two more ticks? And it does. And then you're thinking, oh no, what do I do? And you're literally going to be arguing with yourself. The whole time you're in unrealized profit, and you're not going to stick to the model. The limit orders, 8 ticks or eight handles higher still hasn't got there yet. But you're in 12 handles of unrealized profit with a 3 point lock of, if you get stopped out, you made 3 handles. But you're going to be wrestling because you've never been here before. You're going to be wrestling with, what do I do? What do I do? And it's painful. It's scary. And I teach, as soon as you feel that, take half off. If you still don't feel better, close the entirety. Get out of it. You have to have gradual progress. And that is an experience that even if it goes back and stops you out, you've saved yourself from that experience and it'll feel good. If it continues and goes for your target, it's okay because you were part of that trade and you still took a large portion out and you removed yourself from that emotional turmoil. Because if you stay in that state of mind while you're trading, you can't effectively manage risk. You cannot effectively manage the trade. And you're worrying about the what if instead of worrying about what is. Is the market showing me that it's still on the right side? Is order flow still confirming? If I'm bullish, is to do down closed candles support price? If it goes into the down closed candles, is it going past the 50% mean threshold? If it does and starts closing below that, they're warning signs. Doesn't mean completely bail on the trade. It just means, okay, what's the next two PD arrays below that? If I'm bullish and I'm long, is price not being supported by down closed candles? If that happens to not be true, then and only then, you don't worry about it. You close the trade and you're happy with it. Be content with that. And you'll see many times that you did the right thing. But you can't appreciate what I just said until you go through back testing and then do tape reading and then do demo trading. And you've been there. You've seen it. You've experienced it. Now you understand it and see it before it happens. You anticipate it. But if you're trying to just jump over top of all that stuff and go into live fund trading or getting past with a funded account and trying to be able to trade a funded account and get withdrawals and payouts by these companies and not know what you're doing, you're going to fail. And you won't understand why you're failing, which will also be a great deal of negative impact in how you think about trading, how you think about yourself as a trader. All those things are going to be paramount to what you do in the next set of trades. And it's going to create nervousness, anxiety, and you'll have fear of getting into a trade. It'll completely lock you down. And you may have just made money. But being in a trade that's making you money and not understanding what it's like to be in that position, It's a scary feeling. And the only reason why that occurs, and the answer to that solution being found in back testing, condition yourself seeing it, then tape reading, looking for it without pushing the button, getting bored with how many times you're able to see it, and then venturing in slowly with demo trading for months. And you absolutely cannot take yourself and I'm going to shortcut it and skip all that part. You can't do it.